45-0, the Sharks overpowering Munster at home in Durban. I was expecting the Sharks to win this game, but not 45 points to nil. I would have to say that probably one of the biggest things you can take from this game is how disappointing Munster really were. Yes, they didn't play with all their Irish internationals, but still, the kind of standard you think of Munster as one of the best rugby teams in the world. 45-0 is a bit of an unacceptable result for them. Yes, the Sharks did do very well, and the late tries in the game maybe helps the scoreboard look a bit better for the Sharks, but still, scoring 0 points in a game is shocking, and getting 45 points scored on you in a game in South Africa, you can't allow it, especially if you want to go deep into this tournament. But all credit goes to the Sharks. They played a phenomenal game. We're going to be going over some of the stats from the game, some of the good individual performances, and what this means for the table overall. So some of the key events from the game: Pepsi Buthelezi scoring in the 6th minute of the game, making it 5-0. Then Jordan Hendricks converting to make it 7-0. Then on the 27th minute, the young and upcoming Guillaume, I think it's Guillaume, I think that's how you say it in Afrikaans. I think it's an Afrikaans name, but what a player, what a youngster. I mean, scoring a really good try with a really good offload from Yalpenke as well. Then at half-time, it was 12-0 to the Sharks, and after half-time, on the 50th minute, Patuganyani getting a try to make it 17-0, which was converted by Jordan Hendricks, a pretty easy conversion. Then Van Heerden goes over in the 56th minute. That was a really good try with an incredible out-the-back pass from Grant Williams to make it 24-0, converted by Hendricks to make it 26-0. Then LaRue Milan with a really good try on the 76th minute to make it 31-0, converted by Jean Smith. Then Mapimpi with 2 late tries to make the score eventually 45-0 with a conversion from Jean Smith. I mean, going into the final 10 minutes of the game, it was actually 26-0, so it wasn't too bad. It didn't look too bad for a bad performing Munster team. But I mean, in the last 4 minutes of the game, to give up at least 19 points in the last 5 minutes of the game is really disappointing from a Munster perspective. That is shocking. But I mean, overall, the Sharks played really well. The 9 22-meter entries for the Sharks with an average of 5 points scored per 22-meter entry. So the Sharks on average scored a try every single time they entered the 22, which that is a bit shocking from a defensive point from Munster. And Munster, 5 entries into the Sharks 22 and 0 points to show for it. So they're going to really have to go back to the drawing board here. Just looking at the attacking profile, you can really see where the Sharks stood out compared to Munster. They were quite even with carries. They were quite close with kicks. Post-contact meters, the Sharks got a little bit better than Munster, but when it comes to 22-meter entries, Sharks were better. 22-meter conversion rate, Sharks were much better. And then line breaks, shots, absolutely dominated Munster in that department. Looking at the defensive profile, Munster had more turnovers won, more tackle turnovers, but also missed more tackles. They were quite even for tackles made, but Sharks had a lot more dominant tackles, which does make an impact on the momentum of a game. So just looking at the match summary here, 0 penalty goals for either team, 7 tries scored by the Sharks to 0 of Munster, 5 conversions for them. Carries, 99 carries for the Sharks, 100 carries for Munster. Line breaks, 5 for Sharks, 1 for Munster. Turnovers lost, both quite equal, 15 for Sharks, 14 for Munster. Turnovers won, Munster actually was 7 turnovers, 1 to Sharks 3. Territory, it was pretty much 50-50. I mean, 49% to the Sharks, 51 to Munster. I'm just looking at some of the other stats in the game. Sharks with 100% scrum win rate. Their scrum was really good. And if you think some of their big hitter players wasn't even playing in this game, and the forwards as well. I mean, Oxenchair wasn't starting this game. There was other guys starting this game that made really good impacts throughout the game. And the young guys from the Sharks are really putting up their hands and showing what they can do. I mean, Patuganyani has been awesome. Emil van Heerden's had a very good season. Some other guys as well. Nick Hatton's been really good. Pepsi Buthelezi has been phenomenal this season. The Chichuka brothers have been awesome. Jordan Hendricks is really finding his feet and the fly-off role, getting much better when it comes to playmaking and distribution. And I think the Sharks team as a whole right now, throughout the season, yes, they might not make the top 8. I'm confident they will, but even if they don't, they can take a lot of positives from the season, from building depth, bringing some really key guys in the team, and letting some young guys get some really valuable experience and putting them in leadership positions as well. So the Sharks have had a really successful season up till now. To be honest, they can still push for a top 8 spot, and if they do, they can be a really big threat in the playoffs as well. So that's going to be very interesting to see how the final games unfold of the season. Line-out win rate, 93%, much better from the Sharks, where at the start of the season, they had one of the games that had a 77% scrum win rate and a 60-something% line-out win rate at home. So much better stats there. Looking at Munster on the other hand, 86% scrum win rate, which is okay. I think anything above 85 is good, but line-out win rate, with having 10 line-outs, win rate percentage, 40%, that is absolutely unheard of. I mean, a professional team from Ireland who is very good at set piece as well. Munster, a traditionally good team with the set piece, 40% line-out win rate. That is very unacceptable. And you could kind of see that there was obviously some really glaring areas where you could see that that's where Munster lost out in the game. Looking at the attack, ball carries 99 for Sharks, 100 for Munster. Post-contact meters, 267 for the Sharks, 194 for Munster. Not too big of a difference, but line breaks, 5 for the Sharks, 1 for Munster. And we know most of the Sharks' tries really came from those line breaks, and Munster just couldn't find a way through, which is pretty much a testament to how the Sharks have been defending, but shows how much they were really struggling to just get their foot on the gas and just play as a team. It just looked like they were struggling to get the ball rolling. Hopefully next week they've got another big game. They can maybe build it up from that, but it's going to be a very tough week for them in training, I think. Tackles made, 123 for the Sharks, 108 for Munster. Missed, 18 for the Sharks, 21 for Munster. So overall, the stats there are quite even. And let's look at some of the good individual performances. Carries, Luan Guillemie, 12 carries. Nick Hatton with 10 carries. Mike Haley with 10 carries. Line breaks, Yao Penke 1, Makazile Mapimpi 1, Grant Williams 1. All players you don't want to be making line breaks. These guys are guys you just can't catch them once they break the line. It's going to be very difficult. Tackles completed, Nick Hatton 14, John Hodnett 14, and Vincent Chuchuka 11. Nick Hatton has been a much better player this year. He's really grown into his role in the team. You can see he is playing a bit of a leadership role in the team, and I do think once the other guys leave, the bit of the older guys in the team, once they do retire, I think Nick Hatton probably could become the captain of the team. He's already captained them multiple times, and he's a really good player. Turnovers 1, Gavin Combs 2, LaRue Milan 1. LaRue Milan had a very good game in place of Ethan Hooker. I know he missed the game for personal reasons, but LaRue Milan had a really good game, coming in on late notice as well, straight into the team, straight into the starting lineup, and he's been a really good signing. I think he came from, it wasn't the DC team in the MLR, it was the team from Boston, New England Free Jacks. He played really well there. He's won a few MLR titles as well. He was at the Sharks in his junior years, and it's just good to see him back playing some really good rugby. Dominant tackles, Andre Esterhuizen, Pataganyane, and Nick Hatton. So overall, guys that you expect to be making big tackles, and Andre Esterhuizen has been absolutely phenomenal recently. So just looking at some of their recent form, Sharks with 3 wins, 2 losses in the last 5 games. Munster, 3 losses, 2 wins in the last 5 games. They're really going to want to pick that up. Sharks beating the Stormers, beat twice, losing to the Lions, big loss to the Bulls, and now bouncing back with a big win against Munster. Munster beating the Dragons, but only just, losing to Glasgow, a very tough Glasgow team who beat Leinster last night. Just beating Zebra 21 points to 7, which is a good win, but also now losing 45 points to 0. Very unacceptable from them. Let's just look at the table to see where they are now. Sharks at number 11 on the table. I don't think the table's updated fully yet, but they'll be working their way up. I mean, a long way to go to the end of the season, and the top 8 push looks really, really interesting right now. I mean, you've got Munster at number 6 on the log. You've got the Lions at number 7, Bulls at number 8, Connacht at number 9, Ospreys at number 10, and I think the Sharks are playing the Ospreys pretty soon as well, so that should be a very exciting game. Benetton at number 12 as well, who's a very exciting team, the Italian team, a very dangerous team. You can never count them out. Edinburgh number 13, if they do just flip a switch, they can honestly be a much better team, but they've been really taking some big losses. So I will be doing a bit of a preview or a bit of a state of the URC video, going over the table, going over what teams need to do to make the top 8. But right now, Munster is still safe in the top 8. But if they keep playing like this, they're not going to be safe for much longer. I think this Munster team, you do expect them to end in the top 4. It is still quite close for the top 4. I mean, they're only 2 points, 3 points from the second place. They're not even that far off the first place as well. So if they do just switch things up right now, bring in some of their good international players, maybe just have a clean slate, go back into their old style of play, they can maybe get back into the top 4. And I do think Munster in the top 4 with a home quarterfinal or even a home semi-final chance can be a very dangerous team and could be beating the likes of a Glasgow, Ulster, even a Stormers or a Leinster if they are playing at home. So I do think for Munster, it's key that they try get into the playoffs playing at home. For the team like the Sharks, it's just important for them to get into the playoffs and then see what they can do from there. If the Sharks get into the playoffs, they'd probably hope that they can play against a South African team, because it's just easier. Even if it's an away game, it still feels a bit more like a home game. You have a bit more support. You only have to travel an hour or 2 hours to that game. You don't have to travel a whole overnight flight, so that might be better for them. So I do think the South African teams are going to be hopefully wanting to play against each other somewhere between the quarterfinal or the semi-final. But I mean, overall, it's looking very close on the table right now. The battle for the top 8 is really heating up. And the battle for the top 4 as well. I mean, Glasgow on 50 points, Ulster 42, Stormers 41, Leinster 41, Cardiff 40, Munster 39, Lions 38, Bulls 35. It's really close right now. And I do think the top 8 is going to change a lot from now to the end of the year. So that's just how the Sharks and Munster right now are looking on the table. Both teams with a point to prove, both teams pushing for a playoff spot. A massive win for the Sharks. Mapimpi on his 100th game getting 2 late tries. Phenomenal performance from the Sharks. They will really look to build from this. JB Peterson has made such a big difference since joining the Sharks, getting squad depth, getting some young guys playing some really good rugby at the top level. But for Munster, they're going to be hoping that they can at least leave the South African tour with a win or some points on the board, because getting 45-0, even if you are playing in South Africa with the squad that they have, is a bit unacceptable. But if you guys do enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.